Yo, what's up, everyone? What's good? What's good? Good morning. JP checking in live, man. RespectMyRegion.com. Coming to you guys live from Woodland Hills, California, man. We got a very special guest today. We are on the 101st Morning Joint podcast episode. I've got Devin Alexander, CEO, founder, Rolling Releaf Cannabis Delivery, serving the greater Boston, Massachusetts area. Devin, good morning, sir.
Hey man, how's it going? Greetings
I'm
from the
doing
East Coast.
Man, it's good to have you here, bro. You got that championship mindset right behind you. I see you tilting the angles right there, showing a little love to your boy. You know what I'm saying up there? Celtics NBA Finals champs. How does it feel right now knowing that you, the entire city, the entire state of Mass, y'all are Finals champions?
It feels good, man. It's been a long 16 years. It's been like 6 years since any Boston team won a championship. I think that's
Wow,
like the longest drought we had in a while. So
love to hear
it's
that.
good. It's good to be back on top. It's gonna be a great summer for sure.
I will say this as a Raiders fan, I'm not a baseball fan. Even though I'm from Seattle, I'm not huge into the Mariners. I don't really care about all that stuff. But I can say this. It is always exciting when a Boston team is making a run in the playoffs. As a hater of the Patriots, it's exciting to get to hate on them, right? Historically, right? Shout out to Tom, right? But like watching the Celtics, even though I'm a Lakers fan, I'm a Sonics fan, I'm a Golden State fan, I'm all this West Coast stuff. Like if there is a team that you want to watch play on the East Coast, it's the Celtics. And I think it just comes down to the sports culture, man. Like, what is it like, Devin, being growing up in such a culture like that? I think that's what makes Boston really unique in a lot of ways, right? Besides the old history and the food and things like that, but like that culture there is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Tom Brady took over for the Patriots when I was 8 years old. I'm gonna be 31 in like 2 months, so it's really just been
Him.
a long time. He started it all off, once they won in 2001, then you had the Reds, then they won again in 2003 and 2004, and the Red Sox won in 2004 too. And it was just, then the Celtics won in 08, Red Sox won again in 08, Bruins won in 2011. It was crazy, man. I've seen every single Boston team win a title before I graduated high school, and it was
Wow.
just, it's great for the local economy, right? Everyone's coming out, staying in hotels, going to restaurants, going to bars. So it's been really great. It's been really fun. And it's like something you come to expect, right? It's championship or bust for every one of our teams. We don't say, oh, we made the playoffs this year. It was a good year. Oh, we were the ones. Like, nah. If you don't win the championship, it's not a good season.
Yeah, I've noticed that people are just happy to have a seat at the playoff table in some cities, but like it's an extremely disappointing year if they don't, if they don't not just make it to the playoffs, but if they don't go win, right, in a lot of ways. And like every team to some extent.
100%. That's what we play for. We play for, banners, trophies, championship parades. It all just adds into the culture for sure.
Do you feel like that translates into the culture of cannabis for you guys? Because I couldn't help but notice that even with June being Pride Month, and every year Pride gets bigger and bigger, but I felt like sports this year also got a little bit bigger. And I want to pay respect to Caitlin Clark because I feel like Caitlin made this shit sports more exciting all across the board. Like we're more excited to turn on the TV. You know what I mean right now? Like, and the Celtics were so dominant in the basketball season that sometimes the games were actually not very exciting because it was such massive blowouts. And so do you feel like this winning culture there, this dominating, this banners, this mindset of trophies and championships, do you feel like that translates over into the world of cannabis there?
Yeah, for sure. We definitely see some of our old sports heroes like David Ortiz with his brand and Paul Pierce with his brand, the truth that he had going on. So I think really in one and the same. A lot of athletes use cannabis, for recovery and all that. So it's definitely one on one for sure. It's very popular, and I can only imagine how many more athletes are going to come out with cannabis related brands in the near future. It's only
Right.
better.
Especially now since the NCAA removed it from their banned substances list, now we will actually start to be able to potentially see athletes in college come out with businesses and their own products in that space, right? If you're older than 21, why not, right? And so in terms of Massachusetts, you guys have a delivery service. You're the owner, you're the CEO, you're the founder. You pushed through the social equity project there in Massachusetts, heading that, being the front, not just the front runner, front leading person, but like the face of that, right? We were just talking, I was kind of cracking a joke about your photo this morning where you were speaking on the photo of you on Facebook talking. And it's like, when I think of you, I mean, I think of what I'm looking at now. I think of me and one of our friends. But then when I start to think of like you in the cannabis profession, you in a suit speaking to local leaders and government folks is truly the vision that I have when I think of you and Rolling Relief. You're a local business owner, you're a professional, and they call on you for those things. What has it been like getting your business going there in Massachusetts, knowing that most of the people there don't look like you?
It's been challenging, 100%. It's definitely the toughest thing I've did in my entire life. It took us 3 years to obtain a license, and you ask everybody. Massachusetts has some of the strictest regulations and hurdles one has to jump through. But they also did have some good progressive thinking when they established their laws. We had the first statewide social equity program. So if you live on the eastern part of the state or the western part of the state, it's all going to be the same. As opposed to California, that differs from city to city. And so, they made delivery exclusive for people that are part of this program. So we have a multi-year exclusive window trying adult use cannabis delivery before non-equity applicants can get into the game. And that's been huge for us. That's the whole reason I went for delivery, honestly, was that exclusive window. When we formed the LLC in 2020, obviously that was during the COVID pandemic lockdown. So delivery was at an all-time premium. You can get anything delivered to you in Massachusetts at that time, except for cannabis. So we were number 6 when it comes to in the whole state when it comes to the type of license that we have, the delivery operator license. We were number 2 on this part of the state, and it's really just obtaining market share and putting out that brand. Our logo, the R with the wheels. That's really my goal, just to make that just a recognizable brand. But I've seen a lot of people falter before they reach the finish line, and it's tough because a lot of people put in so much hard work, and they put in some cases their life savings, and to see them not get to where they want to be, it definitely makes me go harder for those people, right? It could have easily been one of those folk, but I was just very fortunate to make the moves at the time that I did to get to where we needed to be.
I find that timing is everything. Somebody told me that back in the day, and timing is truly everything, right? The right window of opportunity, the right pressure applied at the right time, or not being applied, right, to be tactful. When you were going through the application process, what do you feel was the most powerful or important part of that process?
Raising capital, without a doubt, because you can't finish that process without the capital, right?
Okay.
But it's tough, man. For me personally, I've never owned a business, ran a business. I was never even a manager at any job that I worked at. I went from being a bartender to a CEO and just jumped in the deep ends and had to learn a lot on the fly. But also proving to investors I'm worthwhile investing in. Would I invest? I felt actually, we got shut down a lot in our early days. It was really, it got to me. I'm not gonna lie, hearing so many no's and people pick holes in your plan and tell you what you're doing wrong and devaluing your business. That's why I really had to go the extra mile in terms of my activism work, just to show them I'm not just a one-trick pony. I can go out and get shit done. I can be the face of a movement. I just need one person to believe in me, and we can really take off from there. And fortunately, we found those people. So I'm very grateful for that.
Finding money, not super easy, not the easiest endeavor. And I've heard that from numerous people, right? And for social equity applicants, pretty tough, because typically it comes with a lot of this, a lot of the things that you were describing about yourself. Oh, I had never done this before. I haven't done this. I don't have this. That's pretty normal for people coming from a social equity, space, to not have the same resources as someone who came from corporate America, right? Or banking, right? Or whatever have you. And so, what did you find was the big, when you did find the money to get through this, what did you notice was that thing that pushed them over that edge? How did they get on that side of the fence? What was like, oh, yeah, I'm in? Do you remember what that was?
Yeah. So in terms of just just getting my face out there, being on basically every news station in the state, we got into the Ease Momentum program a couple of years back. It was an accelerator program that
Yeah,
Ease,
yeah, yeah.
20 Days company, put on, and they gave us an equity-free $50,000 grant, and that was before our social equity trust fund here in Massachusetts launched. So once we had money already set aside and we had real estate locked down, provisional licenses, and we were literally in the midst of changing regulations to get what we wanted. That really convinced people, like, all right, this is the kid we got to back. This guy knows what's going on. He's been putting in the
Mm-hmm.
work. He put in the money. He raised the money. He got through the process. People just like to. You just got to make it as easy for the investor as possible, right? They don't like to do too much heavy lifting. So we did literally all the heavy lifting to got to a point where all you need to do is just cut a check and you can get operational.
I find that I feel like doing all that heavy lifting, I mean, it kind of just it falls in line with that proper, what do they say? Proper preparation prevents poor performance, right? That the 4 P's or whatever it is. The the more obviously you can still fail, you can still bomb, right? With all the money in the world. But the reality is that to get going, you've got to plan that out. And I think that a lot of people skip a lot of steps in these things, and they sell a lot of stuff based on a vision or hype, right? That kind of leads me to my next question about how like the ethos of your brand, Rolling Relief, right? A lot of delivery services say they stand on, the speedy times, the customer service, the relationships that they build. And I feel like that's a pretty common answer. And even if you give that today, can you expand on those, and on the ethos of Rolling Relief? What do you guys stand for? What does make you guys different? How do you guys make sure to deliver an experience that Devin's proud of each time?
We just ask people, what do they want? We really, it's just because it's cliche, but it's customer service. It's really just the pillars and just having good products, right? We have certain partnerships with cannabis brands that no other delivery company has, and that's just because we've known those people when they started the process, from way back when, and they knew who I am, what I stand for, where I came from, how hard I work, and so there's this like High Mark Provisions, for instance, one of the top craft cultivators here in the state. We're the only delivery company that carries their flower, just because we have such a relationship with the CEO Grayson, who's also the youngest CEO in the Massachusetts cannabis space,
Wow.
younger than me, if you can believe that. And this talking to him, right? Just not seeing robotic. Just, hey, how you doing? What's going on? What have you been smoking lately? And then, for our top tier customers, people that I see order a lot, I'll go out personally and I'll make the delivery. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? My name's Devin, the founder. Very nice to meet you. I'm very appreciate all the business. I can get my hands on any products you want. What would you like to see on our menu, right? I think that's something people don't do. They don't ask their customers what they want to see. They just put out what they assume they want, right? But
Yeah.
we really tailor make the experience so it's like your own little personal dealer, right? What do you want? Offer you, coming right to your house with it.
I love that personalization and attention to detail for serving customers. I think surveying is one of the most important yet underrepresented and also underutilized. I think all three of those statements are true. And people don't talk about surveys enough, and they don't and they don't use it often enough. And so I love the digital versions of the surveys. I love hearing that you guys are asking your customers, about if you're willing to share, about how many customers are you guys seeing? What is the delivery service game like in Boston these days?
We see a good amount. So it's going to be different day from day, right? Time from time, year from season. So
Yeah.
well, I can say it's a little slow right now in the summertime because people are out. They're on vacation. They're at the beach. They're hanging out. So definitely the summer's a little bit slower, but then obviously the winter, it's that time to pop because everyone wants to stay home. They wants to
It
go.
gets a little colder out there, a little bit more
Yeah,
wet and windy, no?
just a little bit, just a little bit. No one wants to go travel in the Northeast to go get their buds. That's where we come in, right? We're out here, rain, sleet, or snow, but we're at a healthy mix now where we're seeing transactions by the month in the thousands, and that wasn't the case obviously when we first started out. So we're seeing our
That's awesome.
transactions are in the thousands now monthly for sure.
Growth, huge. And I think that goes back to the brands and things that you carry. Now, the premise of this episode for me has always been like, we know your story, and a lot of our fan base, they know you and your story. Obviously, I wanted to touch base on that and how you come up and the things that go into the delivery service and getting, what's important to become one of the, the applicants and going into all that. But at the end of the day, bro, we smoke. You and I, we hung out game one, NBA Finals, right out there. I was there about a month ago, and we were trying to go outside and smoke every time. It's like beer and being in the bar is all fun and good, but like we wanted to be smoking while we're standing there, right? And so I remember you saying something about carrying some of the best weed in the state, if not all of it. And then you just reiterated that you guys you carry some brands that not all the deliveries or other deliveries get to carry, right? The one you're wearing, for example. Can you maybe talk a little bit about your three, like when people ask you what is the best in Massachusetts? You're a retail owner, you're the buyer. What do you say is the best in Massachusetts?
In terms of flower brands?
We'll start in flower.
Yeah. Top three, no particular order. Highmark Provisions, Tower 3, Impressed LLC.
And Impressed?
Impressed. Yep.
Impressed. Yep. Love to hear that.
And it goes back to just relationships, right? They're all small practical. People from Impress, Ralphie and Allie, I've known them back when I was a bud tender. Ralph would come into our dispensary. He used to do this thing called keys feed, where people would just put like their old keys in a bucket, and he'd come and pick them up and bring them to like a food pantry, something, and he'd donate them to a food pantry. That's how I met Ralph. He was just a crazy guy with a goatee. He would come into the dispensary, and then we kept talking. He's like, yeah, I'm going to start my own business, me and my daughter. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm going to start my own business one day too. Maybe we can work together. And that was years ago. And now here we are doing it. I was there at this facility back before it was even built out. He came up to my spot, gave us a lot of tips, a lot of pointers. We still go out to lunch, hang out, stuff like that, man. Just building it's relationships, right? It's all about relationships, who you are as a person, and just paying people back, right? I think that's a problem across the whole country, right? It's controceivable. And, I come from a time where if you owe somebody money, you're going to get your teeth punched in if you don't pay up on time and pay it in full. And I've seen some bad stuff to happen to people that don't do that. So, that's just been ingrained in me, just paying people back on time. The one thing I hate more than people owing me money is me owing people money, for sure.
That vendor or that retailer brand relationship, I don't like saying vendor because it just sounds like it's business, because it's not. It's humans. It's human relationships, human business, human psychology is involved in this, right? It's understanding how to be a good partner, and that's important into the ecosystem of winning. The culture of winning is supporting each other, right? Definitely paying your bills on time, every time is important. But also too being able to build community together, enjoying who you work with, enjoying the person that you support can make that weed so much better. I tried their Super Booth, phenomenal. I also tried their, what did he give me? I forget the other strain, but it was absolutely fun. Apples and bananas, super gassy. This weed, to my California homies, to my West Coast people, this weed from Impressed definitely impressed me. It was by far the best stuff I had smoked out there, but I had not tried Highmark Provisions, and I also have not tried Tower 3 yet. And so definitely for sure that Impressed stuff is good. Now talk to me a little bit about Tower 3. Tell me more about these cats.
So Tower 3, they're based in a town called Taunton, Massachusetts. It's on the South Coast. Very small batch. They grow and live in soil, and they only have very few select partners. We have a regional competition here every year in November called the Harvest Cup, and they've won first place the past couple of years with different strains, right? I think last year was a Super Booth Cherry they won with. The year before that was like the half pint, and they're just all great. I think that's what it comes down to as a cultivator, right? They have what I call the big three. You need to have the grower be on point, the brand ambassador, and the wholesale account. You have those three locked up, you're gonna have a good brand. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna do good in this space for sure. Some people just can't realize that, but I think Tower 3 has done a great job of nailing it from top to bottom.
Yeah.
All hand trimmed, hang dried, and their grower, James, is, in my opinion, the best grower in the state for sure.
Wow. Big words out of you, Devin. Okay. Definitely going to have to check out Tower 3 ASAP. Luckily, y'all, I will be out there in August and September. So we'll take a moment here, Dev. I just want to do a quick sponsor statement since I forgot at the beginning. Shout out this joint. Everybody, this episode is powered by RMR Legacy Smalls. It's what I'm smoking right now. It's our weed available in Washington and California. Currently, you can't buy from me wholesale, but you can still buy the dispensaries in California and in Washington as well. We will be out in a variety of states across the country from August through December on the North American Weed Tour. I'll be out there with Devin in August. I'll also be out there again in September. We're going to be smoking on some of this Tower 3 for sure. Going to investigate that. And we'll also be doing some grow tours and things with the homies at Elevated Roots. I'll be coming by Devin's facility. If you didn't know that, Devin, now you know. And we will also be making some content. So a lot of good things to come. Now, Devin, back to the interview. Appreciate the patience there. Tower 3, High Mark Provisions. Is it High Market or High Market?
High Mark, like you're saying, like HIGHMARK provisions.
Yeah. High Mark. Okay, I just wanted to be sure. And then Tower 3 and Impress. I have tried Impress, so those are, and I have heard everybody say Tower 3, so that's definitely fire right there. Now, in terms of edibles and beverages, right? Just hit me with the top 3 that come to mind and why.
Edibles, Coast Cannabis for sure. When it comes to their gummies and chocolate bars,
delicious chocolate bars.
Great people, local people. The first independent product manufacturer in Massachusetts, the first woman-owned product manufacturer as well at the same time. They are the definition of work hard, play hard. I've seen them grind. I've known their owners since before we all launched, right? It's just having that knowledge base and having that network. So they're killing it on the edible game. Drinks, Good Feels, another local guy, the CEO, Jason Raposa, based out of Medway. They're seltzers. Now they're getting into the tincture game, exploring with some high dosage tincture. So that's been really great for us. We're moving really well. Betty's Eddies, another great edible brand from Nature's Heritage.
They're signed to an MSO now, though, correct?
They are. I don't really mind like that. So if anybody in Massachusetts knows, I'm very anti-MSO, but I do make, certain, exceptions.
They started off solo and then signed to the MSO, though, I believe, right?
I'm not 100% sure on that because I know their MSO name is MaryMed. I think they started out as MaryMed. Started out in Massachusetts, and now they're in multiple states. I know they're in Maryland. I don't know where other states they are, but great team.
It's hard to keep track of all of these MSOs making moves all across these multiple states.
Yeah, and when I first came on the game, MSO is such a nasty, evil word. I was young, I was angry, I was just like, I'll never work with MSO. But you get older, you realize, you look behind the scenes, you meet people, you try products. All right, they're not the worst people around, but I can't. MSO, the difference between MSO and corporate cannabis for sure. Just because you're an MSO doesn't mean you're terrible. You're producing shit.
Oh, for sure. And I would also say too, not all corporate stuff is evil, right? There is good examples out there. I'm not going to come out there and be like, this person versus this and this and that. I'm just saying, you get to the point where you grow a business where it becomes a corporation, like there's a part where it still has integrity. There's a part where the culture can still be intact, and it is up to the people to keep it there, right? And so I know for a fact that there are good corporations out there, and there are bad and evil ones out there. And there is a huge difference between corporate cannabis, which is like the big dogs, and MSOs. And then I would also say there's this phrase that I think the Beard Bros helped at least popularize, the multi-state brands, right? Which are just brands like Smokies or Beard Bros, which are on entirely different ends of the size spectrum, right? Smokies being in 20, 15, 20, whatever many states, licensing deal only, right? Not license owning, not product, touching or whatever it is. And the same thing, Beard Bros just do licensing deals. We just do licensing deals. So it's like, there is small versions of that and then big versions of that, right? Okay, so you've named out some good brands there. Betty's Eddies, fire. Coast, fire. Coastal, or it's Coast or Coastal?
It's Coast.
Coast is fire. have had their. I'm thinking right now of their white chocolate bars. That's the one that's immediately in my head. I love those ones.
Cake, chip pops, the birthday cake, the key lime pie.
Oh, that key lime pie is crazy from Coast.
Really just use good ingredients. There's some people that just don't really care about the ingredients and just want to
Yeah.
wholesale like $5 chocolate bars out here. And it's just like to each their own, but we really want to focus on quality with our product offerings.
So we've talked about who's got some fire weed. We've talked about some of the beverages and edibles that are pretty tasty. Big shout out to those groups, right? I know another one out there that's pretty decent, Levia. They got super popular, super fast. I like their seltzers. Who do you feel is on the rise? Who's on the come up? Who do people need to know about in Mass that people don't really know about?
This year, I feel like every year is somebody different, right? And that's what I look to, what I find most exciting, the new kids on the block. And even though they launched last year, this is definitely like we're already halfway through the year. July 1st today, Jesus Christ. Their year, advanced cultivators. This is their year, 100%. They won numerous competitions. They're the first Latino cultivators in Massachusetts. They came from California, came set up shop here, up in the North Shore, Massachusetts, in a city called Lowell. Family oriented, all great, friendly people. They won the Nikan Cup, they won the Greenskeeper Cup. Their Red Runs, killing it. Their Strip Cream Pie. Advanced Cultivators is definitely on their way to becoming a household name here in Massachusetts.
Advanced. Let's go. That's exciting. Good for them, man. That's huge. Do you feel like there's anybody in the edibles or the beverage space on the rise right now? It's okay to say no.
Tough, honestly, because the edible game's already been, pretty much just solidified, right? There's nobody coming in with a brand new gummy because there's already a million SKUs out there. People just want to do fire flower, right? But I really can't think of any new risers of edibles right now because most, like you said, it's all just licensing deals, right? No one's starting from scratch and going out and getting a product manufacturing license these days, really.
That makes a lot of sense. So, all right, Devin, we'll get you out of here. Last question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, building your business, what would you say is the most important game that you can share to somebody trying to get into Massachusetts cannabis, be a retailer or be a brand? What would you say? Not from out of state. Maybe it's a person who lives there, a young person. Maybe it's young you. It's a current bud tender who wants to launch a brand. What is a piece of advice or a series of pieces of advice that you can share to starting a business there, a licensed cannabis business in Massachusetts?
Surround yourself with like-minded individuals. Kill your ego. You don't know everything. You have a lot to learn. You're not going to learn it all. Identify your strengths, identify your weaknesses, and have people whose strengths are your weaknesses be part of your team. Believe in yourself. And, you know, no one, there's always going to be people that doubt you, even yourself. It's going to be a lot of self-doubt in it. But, at the end of the day, who knows you better than yourself, right? And just don't give up. There's been plenty of times where we could have just given up, try something else because, we had doors slammed in our face. But just because of our support system, really, like there was too many people that wanted to see us win for us to lose. And that's what I would tell my partner all the time. It's like, yo, just be a good like it's just karma, right? Just be a good person, do good shit, it'll come back. I truly wholeheartedly believe in all of that. And just perseverance and tenacity, and always, just don't forget where you came from, don't forget where you started, and pay it forward when you can, right? Because not everybody has opportunities as yourself or the same network.
Those are huge pieces of advice, man. I appreciate you sharing that. To those of you guys that are watching, we got Devin Alexander on to the episode today, CEO, founder, Rolling Releaf cannabis delivery service, providing their services to the greater area of Boston, Massachusetts. They've got some of the best brands, some exclusive things to them in the delivery world. So if you are there in Boston, if you are there around Mass, make sure you guys tap in. Devin, where can they follow you? Where can they subscribe to an email blast? How can they get connected to whatever you got for sale?
Yeah, so we're at www.rollingreleaf.com, and that's relief, RELEAF. Instagram at Rolling Relief. We got some Twitter going on LinkedIn. But yeah, your best bet's gonna go to our website for sure.
Go to their website. If you're watching this episode, go to their website, visit their menu, look for Tower 3, look for Impress, for Coast, check out that Good Feels, give those brands a shot, and then shoot them a DM on Instagram and ask what other things you can try, right? He was just saying they want to know what you guys want. And so reach out, establish a line of communication, and check out the best delivery service there in Massachusetts, y'all. Of course, man, tap in. Devin, man, I appreciate you being on here with us today. This was the 101st episode. Absolutely legendary. You're the episode 1 on the path to 200. So I appreciate you for being here. I can't wait to come out there and see you again. And again, also too, I said to this online, but congrats to you guys in Boston for the championship. It's very excited. I hope that impacted your business in a positive way, and you guys got to turn the fuck up for a little while.
Yes, sir.
Well, you have a good week, man. I know today is your day off, so don't work too hard, but also get it in, man. I'll see you soon. All right.
All right, brother. Always good.
All right, everybody, talk that shit. Do what you got to do, but no matter what, we'll be back next Monday with another Morning Joint podcast. We'll see you guys next.